Hi people out there, and back with another video. In this video we will be learning the next concept in JavaScript, that is variables. I hope that you know some kind of things in variables, but I will explain you all the things, all the in-depth about the variables in this video. So make sure that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe and also hit that bell button so that whenever I come up with the new videos, courses and tutorials and all the technology related videos, you won't miss that. So now guys, as you can see, this is the things which we have done a lot in the previous video. We have learned all the stuffs about the data types, right? So you should be on the track, right? So you should not miss any of the videos in between, because I'm going step by step one of the another concepts, explaining you from the scratch and taking you from scratch till advanced. So you should not miss any of the videos in this playlist, and make sure that you see all of those and watch all of those one by one. And this is the things which we all done in the previous lecture or previous video. So now guys, coming to the topic called as variables. So now what is variable? So it's a name stored to some data. So now as you can see here, these are the data, right? So this is a double string, this is a single string, this is the things which we have done, right? The thing is, can we access this data and get this data from this and get that from somewhere else? Can we access this? Of course not. This is just a hard code values. We can't access this, and we can't use them along the down of our logic, right? So these are the hardcore values. So now what I will do, I'll just remove the entire thing and save this. So now I will explain you the variables. So now again, I'll just have a comment section here, and then I will just say variables are just name to the storage location which have an info or a data in that. That's it. These are the things, guys. It's an identifier where we should identify some data which is stored in some storage location, right? So this is what we generally call it as a variables. And now let us see how the variables are defined and declared in JavaScript. So there are just say there are two ways to declare a variable. So yeah, it's variable, and so those are the first way is with the help of let, and the second way is with the help of var. That's it. So let's talk about the first way of defining a variable and the second way of defining the variable after that. So now if I want to define a variable, we need to use a keyword called let and the name of the variable, like let's say add. That's it, and the semicolon. That's it. This is how we will declare a variable. And the second way is we can also declare a variable with the keyword called as var and the variable name as sub, right? So these are the two ways to declare a variable in JavaScript. And you might be thinking, what's the difference between using let and the var? The thing is, guys, I will be explaining you all of the things, the difference between the let and the var in an exclusive video. So it is not as of now, so we are just dealing with the variable, so we are not dealing with the difference between the let and the var. Of course guys, this seems to be similar kind of a thing, but they have a slight difference between themselves. So let has slight difference between var. So I will be explaining you that with another exclusive video. So this is how we will define a variable. So coming up next, how to initialize these variables. So either again, there are two ways of doing that. One is with the direct initialization, like this thing. So now add became a number data type, or add is a variable of number data type, since because I have given as 12 as a data to this. So with the help of assignment operator, we will initialize a value to the variable. This is how we can do that. Or else instead of doing this, we can have just declare the variables and then I'll just initialize them after this using this thing, assignment operator. We can do this, or else we can do something called as this. So now if I do both of them, which means I have used a declaration, I have declared a variable and initialized the variable with 78, and then I'm reinitializing the same variable with the value 12. Right, so this is, guys, it's so simple. We are just reassigning and we are just changing the value stored in add variable. This is how we will be the two ways of assigning values to the variable. So this is what it will be, and if I just console it to the log, let me see how it will be done in the browser. So in order to get the value of the add, I need to just use those variable names, or else we call it as identifiers, and we got it 12, right? So if I just have the same thing, I just copy this, and if I just paste it over here, let me see the difference, guys. As you can see, it's now printed 78 and 12. The reason is because firstly it was 78 and we have consoled it and we got 78, and then we changed that, we reassigned that, and we got 12, right? So it's, guys, it's again so simple. And guys, these are the two ways we define and declare a variable and also reassign a variable values in JavaScript. And coming to the craziest part is the value, or the variables in JavaScript are, what we call it as, I'll just write it over here. So variables are dynamically typed. So what do you mean by dynamically typed thing? Let me explain you that here. So I'll just remove this entire thing, or else I'll just have a comment here so that you will be having a reference to that. So now, yeah, so I will just have some a variable called as let, and then I will just say hi, and then I will just initialize this to 12, and then I'll just console it to the log, and let me explain you about dynamically typed, and I'll just say hi. So hi is a number data typed variable, and the value stored in that variable will be 12, right? So we got 12. So the craziest part is I'll just reinitialize the variable hi to something like this. This is a string, and let me check in the console what it prints. Either it will print the 12 or the thing which we have reassigned over here, right? Guys, before going to the output and checking the output, can we do this? Can we change the value, the data type of the variables? Of course, it was high was a number variable, and now we are forcefully making it to be a string variable. Can we do that? Let me check it out. If I go to the browser, guys, as you can see, first it printed 12 and then the string, right? So as you can see, first it has got the 12, which is a number data type, and the value is 12, and now we have forcefully changed that to a random string which is in double quotes. And now if we print the same thing, here we are back with the change the data type. So now what we are telling here is this is number data type, right? So this is a number data type, and then we change it to string data type, right? So this is what we call it as dynamically typed data variables. So in JavaScript, we can change the data type of the variable itself. So now it based on the value, the type of the variable will be changed dynamically. So if we assign a number, so it become a number variable. If we assign a string, it will become a string variable. So similarly, if I assign some boolean values like this, so now hi became a boolean variable, not a string variables, right? So if I just console it to the log and go to the browser, as you can see, now the hi became a boolean variable. So this is what we call it as a dynamically type. We can change the type of a variable, right? So this is a craziest part. And the coming to the next thing in variables is having a multiple variables like this. So I'll just again comment this off, and so that you will be having again all the references so far what we have done. So now I will just have a variable called as let me say add, and then I will just say 13, and then again I will declare a variable like sub and declare some value to that, and again I will have some variable like multiply, and then I will just have some all of these things. So this is one of the way to have the multiple variable defined in JavaScript. So you can do this, or else you can do something called as this. If you don't want this entire thing, you can go ahead and with the help of a commas, we can declare the same things with this, right? So this is one and the same. So you should be knowing this, all of those stuffs, the way to have a multiple variable. So this becomes one single line definition of multiple variables rather than having all of the different lines of initialization or declaration of a variable. So yes guys, this is the ways of having a multiple variable, and this is all about the dynamically typed concept in JavaScript, and this is how we can have declare and define a variable in JavaScript. And coming to the rules guys, yeah, now the thing is rules of variables. So now there are two rules. The first rule is it should be only letters, digits, or underscore, I'm sorry, yeah, underscore, I'm sorry, dollar and underscore. So we can have only this. We can't have multiple, special symbols like brackets or and symbol and percentage symbol. So we can't have that. So this is only the things which we are restricted to use in a variable name. And the second rule is the first letter must not be a digit. So this is not going to work. Let me explain you that. If I just have a variable starting with some 9n and initialize that to some value, and let me check in the output, and it got an error, right? So it should not be the case. So we can't have a number or as a first character in a variable. So now this is okay, and the error will be gone, right? So yes guys, these are the rules, right? I'm talking about the rules, right? So these are the rules of defining a variable. We can have a digits after a number, it will be working fine, but not before as a first character, right? These are the rules. And coming up next is the case sensitive. So variables are a case sensitive. So what do you mean by this? So if we have something called as, let me say, add is equal to 90, and I'm console it to the log, and I'll just say add, I'm sorry, yeah, add, and then I'll just have some variable called as with add itself but with caps A, and then I'll just say 9000, and I will console it to the log. Let me check what is the difference between this. So we'll save this file, come back to the browser, and as you can see, these are the two variables. This is not one and the same, right? So it's a case sensitive. So make sure that you know this, because variable names are case sensitive in JavaScript. So if you have some uppercase with a lowercase in the two variables, these are the two different variables, right? So this is what we are now studying. So the variables are case sensitive. And the next thing is we must not use a keyword. So now what is a keyword? Let me explain you that with the simple image over here guys. Again, this is a chart of all the keywords in JavaScript. As you can see, abstract, else, instance of, switch, int, long, native, new, null, true, try. These guys, these are the all the variables, I'm sorry, yeah, all the keywords in JavaScript. So keywords is nothing but a word which has a special meaning to that. So we can't use this anyhow we want. So we can't use this by ourselves, like making the going out of the box of this meaning, right? So these are the keywords. So the thing is, keyword should not be a variable. Let me say var, and then again the var, right? So guys, this is not possible, right? So the name of the variable should not be the keyword, right? So since because var is a keyword, we can't use the name of the variable as the var, which is a keyword, right? So yes guys, this is all the things that comes under a variable concept in JavaScript. So we have got to know about the variables and the two ways to declare a variable with the help of let and var, and we have also studied that with all the examples over here. And to sum up these things, we have also got to know that variables are dynamically typed. I have explained you that over here. And then we have got to know the rules of a variable, and we have also got to know that variables are case sensitive, and we have got to know that over here, right? And at the last, we have studied about the keywords, which means we should not have a name of the variable as a keyword, which we have studied over here, right? So if I save this, let me check it out here, guys, and come back to the browser. It gives us an error, right? Since because it is not a valid thing in JavaScript. So yes guys, I have explained you all the necessary things you should know whenever you should want to be a great JavaScript programmer, right? So these are the guys, the things you must know in JavaScript about variables. Yes guys, practice it and make you get well versed with yourselves with all of these things. And um, uh, this is it all about the things which we should be knowing in JavaScript about variables, and see you in the next video.